We will move on to enable Ghazali to ask more questions to the next guest, who is Aili Keskitalo. She is a Sami woman from Korikaino in the northern part of Sapmi, the Norwegian side of the border. She's currently the president of the Sami Parliament in Norway, having been a member of the said parliament since 2005 for the Sami Association of Norway. She's the first woman to serve as a president in any Sami parliament, and as president, she has been a strong advocate for the revitalization of indigenous languages, both at home and in policy making. Currently, she is serving as a co-chair and representative for the Arctic Indigenous Peoples in the International Year for Indigenous Languages in 2019 Steering Committee, which is now in transition towards International Decade for Indigenous Languages between 2022 and 2032. She is married and a proud mother of three daughters. And personally, I remember the day when Disney announced that the Frozen 2 will be available in northern Sami when I was in Geneva. And it was I understand it was a massive win for indigenous languages. So I'm really looking forward to hear more about this with your conversation with Ghazali. So Ghazali, please take it away.
Thank you so much, Tomo. Yes, Madam President, Boris, welcome in this webinar series. Yeah, I think of when not just the role, but also like the person, Aili Keskitalo, as a president, is very admiring. We have see a lot of indigenous women, indigenous girls, ladies are very inspired by your conduct and your work. So I have like hundreds of questions for you, but I can only ask you some. So I apologize beforehand if I go fast in asking these questions. So I will go right into it. Madam President, how important were your skills developed in your early years when you first started out at the Sami Association of Norway? And what are the different things that have made you improve as a president?
Well, thank you, Boris, Ghazali, and Tomo, and others, and thank you for inviting me to participate in this webinar. I would have to say that being an indigenous leader, and I believe all of the panelists and maybe the attendees and in this webinar will realize that talented people can have all kinds of careers, but if you choose indigenous policies, if you choose to be a champion for your people, it's kind of a life calling. It's because of your passion for your people and your culture and your language, and it is very rewarding in many ways, but probably not as a career or financially or anything. So if you want such a leader, I think you have to search for an inner kind of motivation, and that is what I try to find. I try to find my inner motivation, and I try to encourage others to find the same kind of motivation, and I really try to recruit people who inspire me, because that is probably the smartest thing you can do as a leader. Be together with other people that are inspiring, and well, it is kind of tough to be an indigenous leader, and I think what I learned in my earlier years in the Sami Association was to, if you wanted to have something done, you had to do it yourself and hope and encourage others to join you in the work. And I think that has kind of worked for me, and it's the spirit I try to bring with me also into the parliament, the Sami parliament.
Thank you so much, Madam President. Also, you have been focusing a lot, and I think that that's one of the great things, one of the great achievements, of course, on Indigenous people's languages. It's very dear to you during your term as the president of the Sami Parliament in Norway, especially during the International Year of Indigenous Languages. How did it, in your view, in your mind, how did it serve Indigenous peoples and maybe also the Sami in particular? Has it created any momentum in your region? What are you seeing?
Well, first, I would like to say that indigenous languages and the Sami language and language policies, what we can do ourselves for our languages, those are issues very close to my heart and which really recruited me into political work. For us in Sami, the Year of Indigenous Languages, it was a lucky coincidence because we were already focusing on renewing language policies and putting more effort into language policies. So we were able to really broaden our platform and give our language work high visibility, both in Sami, in Norway nationally, and also internationally, as Tuomo already mentioned, with the cooperation with the Disney animation studios on the Yenyungwa. So it was good timing for us. And I think we managed to create a momentum. And one of that we were able to pave the ground for was the establishment of a joint Sami language institutions that all three Sami parliaments, we are establishing it together. Hopefully it will be opening the doors from January 1st if we are continuing our good work. But that's one of the legacies from the International Year of Indigenous Languages.
Madam President, if I may transition a little bit into like representation, what a lot of people see is that the Sami are like one people across 4 borders, 3 parliaments, and also an interparliamentary council. What is the plus side of this arrangement? What do you see that other people may not see or not see yet? And what is the next step for like further cooperation or minimizing the borders between that divide physically the Sami people?
The borders, they are really impractical for a small people like the Sami people. But if we search really good, we could find some positive points with the borders. It makes it possible for us to kind of benchmark the states we live in. We are able to both coordinate and cooperate, especially across the Nordic borders. It's a little bit or very much more difficult over to the Russian side of Sami. But we can benchmark the Nordic states and we can get inspired and get good examples from the Finnish side, the Swedish side, the Norwegian side. And then we can go to the states we live in and say, well, you are doing good work, but Sweden is leading on this issue. So Norway, please, you have to live up to the example set by Sweden. And that is one of, I guess, the few the few plus sides when it comes to living across the borders. And I already mentioned our joint language institution, and I think it's historical that we are, as 3 Sami parliaments, soon able to build joint institutions. And you cannot imagine all kinds of administrative hassle that the borders when the borders complicate such joint efforts. But I hope to see more on the ground cooperation between the Sami parliaments, and language is a natural starting point because our languages cross the borders as well.
Thank you so much, Madam President. I see, again, I see Tomo laughing and really wanted to get into this conversation as well. So I'll give the floor to Tomo right now.
Yes, well, thanks so much for your time and for all the interesting discussions about following your inspired model, which is what I'm trying to do right now. And then I have had the privilege of being able to host this event. Is also thanks to Ghazali and others who have trusted in me to do this. Ali, you're quite a public figure in Norway, and we often talk about Indigenous peoples in relations with the state governments, but there is little less talk about the Indigenous peoples' relationship with the people, Norwegian society, for example. How important do you think this aspect of Indigenous diplomacy, if we can put it that way, nowadays? Maybe in the context of Norway.
Well, I think the relationship with our neighbors is our neighbors, because we are really neighbors. We live together in the same communities in most parts of Norway, and as Norwegian majority Norwegian, being in majority, we really need their understanding. We need them to be educated on our issues, to understand, to make good decisions when they are not allowing us to participate in an educated public, and we need some kind of solidarity with us as an Indigenous people in Norway and a minority also in Norway. And I have hopes for the process of truth and reconciliation. As you might already know, Norway has a commission set up, and they are currently working. And one of their tasks is to engage with the majority public, and reframe our joint history, you might say. And I have hopes that this will be a good contribution for the future. But the educational system should really contribute more to build understanding on the Sami issues, because we have some conflicts of interest between the Sami people and majority people of Norway that are really hard to solve and navigate in, because of lack of knowledge of our people, our culture, our needs.
Well, just to follow up, where do you think you see an opportunity for your neighbors, majority Norwegian society, to kind of access knowledge, to build capacity, to understand, build empathy with the Sami people's causes and issues?
Well, we have a big school, a revision of which is going on in these days, and the Sami Parliament has succeeded in strengthening the Sami, the knowledge on Sami in the national curriculum. So I think we are building for the future and educating future citizens of Norway, and hopefully they will be better than Norwegian have been in the past.
Yes, thanks. I was about to say that whenever I go to the Sami's Kust, there is a painting by Norwegian children. I think several Sami artists were involved in this project, and I'm always glad to see non-Indigenous people in the Sami's Kust engaging with Sami people and just trying to build understanding of the people's cultures and the context. So that I'm really happy about that too. I guess we're running towards the end of the time. I want to ask about your future, as you will not be standing for re-election for the Sami Parliament. Do you have any thoughts, idea about what you wish, what your next plan is after your tenure?
Well, it's correct. I'm not campaigning for the next election next year, but I'm really trying to focus on what is happening now in this term and doing the best I can for this term. But maybe I would return to my childhood dream on being a writer and to write creatively the great Sami novel or something with a happy ending, of course.
Yeah, Ghazali, thank you so much for the time. I guess I'll pass it back to you. Thanks, Aili, for your comments.
Madam President, maybe a final. I wanted to give you the final words. I don't want to, say thank you, but I give you the final 2 minutes. Anything that it's in your mind that we have not talked about that you still wanted to tell us, or want any people to think about? Anything that you still want to have covered.
Well, thank you. I would like to focus on the fact that we are joined together here today on this platform because it is, I think, one of the greatest gifts that the majority society or the Western society or Eastern society even have given us is the possibility to connect over great distances through the World Wide Web, through technology. And I think this generation of indigenous leaders, policymakers, they will have great benefit from using modern technology to educate themselves, to coordinate indigenous peoples' efforts on the international level, and to learn from each other and to inspire each other. So I'm an optimist because of the possibilities that lies in modern technology. Also, when it comes to indigenous languages, I'm a believer in that modern technology and language technology can bring something to our societies. So I think that is a great message, or something to keep in mind for us, that yes, we struggle sometimes with the majority society. We struggle with what they present to us, what they force upon us, but we might in some cases be able to utilize what modern society can offer us to the benefit of our peoples, our languages and cultures. So I think I'll close with that and say Gitu, Olo Gitu to you all.
Olo Gitu, Madam President, for your time, for not only just for your time, but your service as well, years of service for the Sami people and Indian peoples in general. Much appreciation for that, and very good luck with picking up your childhood dream. I'm all for picking up things that you wanted to do, always have wanted to do. So very much looking forward to reading that book. If it's in Sami, I will definitely learn Sami to be able to read that book. Thank you so much, Madam President.